Hi, Chantel. I have Chantel here from Chocolate Detective. Great to meet you. Thank you very much for coming on. How are you?
Hey. Hi, Kevin. It's great to be here.
Excellent, good stuff. So, I normally before I meet my guests, I have a little do a bit of research, and when I did my research on you, it kind of came it came up like that. So maybe do you want to start by just give me a bit of a kind of a flavour for who you are and what you do?
Well, I guess you could say chocolate has been my whole life.
Yeah,
It's not quite true, but I've been working in this area for over 40 years. As a child, I was crazy about chocolate. I was one of 5 children. I could never get enough, and especially around Easter, which is about to happen.
absolutely.
Uh, so this passion just overflowed to become a business. I knew nothing about business and not much about chocolate, but I decided I was going to do that. So,
And how did it start in terms of that moment that you it became a business?
well, it started out as a student job in Harrods
Okay.
selling chocolate. So that was a Saturday job. So I was able to learn about how to sell chocolate in that sort of atmosphere.
Yeah.
And, long story short, I decided it was a little bit stifling. And although, they had some amazing chocolates, there was no creativity. There was no emotional engagement with the customers. So that was the kind of, we didn't use words like that at that time, but that was the
Sure.
spark that made me think, I can do this and I can do it better. So
Yeah.
it's completely bonkers. I was probably 22 at that time. I was 23 when I actually opened the shop after doing a very short business course, like 3 weeks in a classroom, doing my business plan, taking it to the bank, and opening a shop, a real bricks and mortar shop on the King's Road in Chelsea.
Yeah. And how was that the day one on the I mean that must have been quite daunting. What, waiting for people to come through or
Well, it was very funny and very sweet, actually, because one of my neighbours, Leo and Philippa, had this beautiful Chelsea Rare Books, the shop, which probably had been there for about 40 years. And they were real old time shopkeepers and just lovely people. And Leo made sure he was standing outside the shop with his beautiful spaniel Tess to be the very first customer. So,
oh, brilliant.
and then, we had a few more, but it was quite surreal. It really was like playing shops.
Yeah, I'd imagine that it must have been fun but daunting at the same time.
Yes, and I suppose being an art student, which was my background actually is art and design and
Yeah.
textiles. I was quite used to the party scene, the nightclub scene at that time, and the idea that to promote things you would have a party. So that happened
Okay.
pretty early on.
Yeah.
Champagne was involved,
Yeah.
and actually, people was very funny when we did open. We were right on the corner, and the buses would be coming past, and so people would be kind of almost leaning out of the window of the bus to see what's going on, see what's the next thing. And we got some press very, very early on. I think it might have even been the first or second day. We were in the Londoner's Diary in the
Oh,
Evening Standard. And then the FT picked it up and a couple of other people. So it was, in a way, there were some very lucky bits, but people they loved the idea of this crazy young woman, opening her chocolate shop.
yeah. Brilliant. And so I mean, obviously that was some time ago. Clearly, at what point did you decide to explore selling online?
Um, I think we were selling online before in the 90s, late 90s, so
Yeah,
last century, basically. So
yeah,
we're
yeah,
pretty early adopters. I
yeah.
mean,
And I started Gravytrain in 1999. So right, and it was very people had modems and things like that
yeah.
rather than broadband.
And we still did, I mean, we obviously had already had a mail order service, that old-fashioned thing. We had a catalog.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
So it was a kind of progression from
yeah,
that.
an evolution, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you? I mean, back then, I mean, we weren't doing e-commerce back then. But what was the website built on then? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, now that's way too technical for me.
Well, because I mean, e-commerce wasn't that advanced then, really. It was
It
fairly primitive.
wasn't, no, and I definitely, it wasn't me that was looking after that side of it. You
Yeah.
know, I was the sort of creative and product person.
Yeah. I guess, I mean, from what you're saying though, the you had the advantage of, I mean, you know, we all remember the old kind of mail order. I mean, really, e-commerce is just that, isn't it? But in a new guise, if you like.
Yes, absolutely. Although I guess with mail order, it was a bit more personal,
Yeah.
and people could ring you up and hassle you and, you know, say, when are you posting it? I mean, not that that happened very much because we were always very, very quick.
Yeah.
We'd be running back and forth to the post office with our parcels.
What do you think's been what's the biggest learning, or the sort of biggest lesson in terms of running that business? I mean, I'd imagine you've had a few over the years, but what's the
Well, I think in terms of your brand and your interaction with customers, I think it should still be old school.
Yeah.
And you should love and respect your customers and listen to them and bend over backwards to help them. Maybe that's because I'm in a luxury business. But I think the fact that you could have all sorts of bells and whistles and AI doing all sorts of clever things in the background doesn't stop the fact that this is a human interaction.
Yeah.
When someone chooses to spend their hard-earned money with you, that respect needs to be there. And
Yeah, you need to look after them.
and yeah, that engagement I think is absolutely critical. And when it's amazing what happens, especially now because there's so much online, when you do respond very quickly and very personally to a customer, they're kind of, wow, there is actually a real person there behind that.
Yeah. I also think, as I mean, there are obviously lots of big organisations out there that are selling chocolate, good, bad, and all the rest of it. And I guess you've got to try and stand out, haven't you, as a business? And I think that the personalisation bit is important.
Yes, indeed. And I think as well with us, you know, we started up the Chocolate Detective from scratch after having had Rococo for almost 40 years.
Yeah.
And it was, you know, we were in quite a strange place because we'd had an investor who basically took our company from us and we had nothing. So we had to just literally pick ourselves up from the floor and start something. But what we found was, you know, it's grown organically and we've almost been struggling to keep up with orders from the very beginning. So obviously we're getting better at it. We've found lots of things that we can do. And, you know, right now, I think probably for the first time ever, coming up to a big season, we actually have plenty of stock in the warehouse.
Yeah.
And we're doing, you know, a lot more B2B as well now. So, you know, people still love going to shops. And then we do the occasional pop-ups. So we're still interacting with our customers. And at the, you know, in the seasons, people love going to Christmas fairs. So I think there's always going to be a bit of a mixture, but it's actually a massive relief not to have bricks and mortar shop that you have to open, you know, 7 days a week, 363 days a year.
Yeah, I bet.
It's how it was.
That's a real commitment, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I mean, getting staff these days, it seems is really difficult.
Yeah. So in terms of, I mean, you mentioned B2B. I'd imagine you sell a lot through you do a lot of B2B business. Well, what's the split between the consumers and the businesses you're selling to, if you were to break
Well,
it down?
I think the B2B is actually has taken over.
Has it?
Certainly in terms of the volume and the numbers, it's really, really important. So I would say it's like probably 90% now.
B2B, is it really? And who are you selling to? Who are your customers?
Well, we have from Chatsworth House to Blenheim Palace to the Fromagerie and Liberty of London, to lots of amazing, very small retailers and, you gift shops. So in areas where they have lovely little villages and high streets where people actually still shop, those seem to be thriving.
Yeah.
And when they order from us, because we've done a couple of trade fairs to get those customers, they're always incredibly delighted to report how quickly these beautiful little birds' eggs fly out of their stores.
Excellent. Good. And then come back and buy more, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the biggest I was gonna, you touched on a low point earlier. What's the sort of biggest high point you've had in the time that you've been running the business? Things, standout moments,
Oh, well, I guess one that everyone talks about is when I was awarded an OBE in the Queen's birthday honours in 2014 and went along to the palace to receive that. But that was very much, taking that for the team, because without all of the amazing people working with me and all the cocoa farmers in Grenada and my mentors and people like that, that wouldn't have happened.
No. But personally, it must have been a wow moment.
It was. It was great. And, I got to meet Prince William up close, and I made him roar with laughter, but I can't remember what I said.
Excellent. So what about challenges? What's the thing that keeps you up at night at the moment?
I guess balancing the stock, thinking about coming up now, if things start heating up, how we're going to keep our chocolate from melting.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Well, it needs to be air conditioned, but then when it gets very hot, you don't want to be sending out chocolate into the heat. So
no.
It's sometimes it's managing expectations, and we don't expect to be mega busy in the summer, but people are still buying chocolate.
Yeah. And how do you manage that in terms of sending stuff out and trying to keep it cool? Do you have like a insulated packaging or what's?
We don't have insulated packaging as such, but we do always pack quite a lot of stuff around the boxes.
Yeah, okay.
So it takes a really, need to be left in the direct sun for quite a long time before it would melt.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And generally you hope that that's not going to happen. But I think we have a fulfillment warehouse in Sussex, and they have a certain amount of cool storage, air conditioned, but we may need to look at expanding that now, because we're not talking boxes, we're talking pallets when we get our stock levels up.
Yeah. So do you have the same logistics partner who do so send me a box of chocolates that sends a business a pallet of whatever?
We do, yeah.
And how does that, that's very different, isn't it? The picking.
Yes, it's interesting. Well, that they're great because they've actually been really kind and held our hands from the beginning, and probably allowed us to set up where a lot of fulfillment centers would have just said, you're too small, go away.
Yeah, sure.
And they're very keen to help build that B2B side.
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of complication at the back end of the website as well, because it's the same website whether it's B2C
or B2C. Yeah.
And I think at this point, one of our tech advisors has said, you don't really want to unravel that.
Yeah.
It's the horse's nest. And I don't think anyone has designed a platform really which would do both. So
yeah, there are one or two. I mean, I think Shopify and Magento both do they direct to consumer and B2B. That's you're on WooCommerce, am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. If you looking back at when you started and you were in your 20s, what advice would you give to somebody starting out in their 20s now?
I think you have to really believe in yourself. And however mad it is, your idea, you've got to believe it. If you don't believe it, no one else will, that's for sure. Enjoy it. try and enjoy it as much as possible. And if you're not, then probably you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it needs to be a passion project, I think.
Is it
And
a labour of love, do you think?
I think it really is.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky enough to make it into something that will support your lifestyle or more, that's fantastic.
I guess with food it is though, isn't it? I think unlike a lot of businesses, it's I mean, you sound like you talked earlier about kind of creativity and art and things like that. You're quite a creative person, I'd imagine.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah,
I think that's really part of building both brands. Is it's got to be really visually appealing. And then when someone takes a bite, it's got to deliver as well.
Yeah, I love your website. I think it's great. It's really cool. I love the use of the fonts, and because that kind of is it like a typewriter type font, isn't it? I think it's really nice. It's playful, but I love it. Yeah, I think it's really good.
Yeah, and it goes really well with the beautiful Quentin Blake illustration, which he very, very kindly gave to us when he heard the story of what happened to Rococo. He said, "I'm going to do a drawing." So
fabulous, excellent. What does the future hold? What does the rest of this year look like for you?
It's about getting organised for Christmas. We really need to start thinking about that now. We are.
Sure.
I think probably marketing is something we've done very little of, and in a way because we've just been coping with reacting to demand. We wouldn't have coped with much higher levels. So now that we feel more confident and we've built up our stocks, it's about anticipating that, making the plan. Hoping we get to sell through most of it by Christmas and then get ready for next Easter. So it's this, we know the patterns really well. But it's about making some serious plans.
Excellent. So, and how was Christmas last year? Was it good for you?
It was amazing. Yeah.
Was it really? Excellent. What do you think about the kind of? I mean, I turned the TV on this morning. There was lots of doom and gloom about the economy and all those types of things. It was quite depressing. But what are your thoughts on that in terms of the general outlook for the remainder of this year?
Yeah, I don't think it's good at all. But I think if you're doing something really special, and you speak to someone on that kind of emotional level, really, that someone will go, well, this is really special, and there's someone really special. I want to show how much I care about them, and it sort of ticks all of those boxes. So in that sense, we are growing and growing in spite of everything.
Yeah,
I think that is possible if you're doing something different, something original, something people really love, then in a way you can plow through and build in, even within that terrible scenario.
Yeah. You must have been through a number of different kind of tough times, as I have over the years. That you just got to keep pushing on, haven't you?
Indeed. I mean, I've seen all of these recessions, the boom and bust. It was the Thatcher days when I first opened.
Yeah. Excellent.
And sometimes when you're selling something like chocolate, or apparently lipstick, it's those affordable luxuries that people will turn to when they can't afford the handbag or car.
The posh car or something. Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Cool. What in terms of the website, you're currently on WooCommerce. You're doing B2B and B2C through it. What does that look like from a conversion perspective? Do you have? I mean, it might not be your thing. I guess you probably have somebody looking after it. But what challenges do you have around the website and performance?
I think one of the biggest challenges, which won't surprise anyone, is all the cyber hackers.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Who are, all these bots trying to get at you.
Yeah.
And then the reaction is, well, we need to make the site much more secure.
Yeah.
And in doing that, you then can inadvertently stop the site from functioning. So when a real customer goes in to buy something, it won't work. So that's been a challenge. Before Christmas, we had a lot of that. And we have, our team in-house. My brother has been a web person for years, so he's built the initial site and everything else. And we now have some expert backup as well, who help us in those times. And it's really good actually to have someone externally who understands the scenarios.
Yeah.
So that's been great actually. It feels like a good progression.
Yeah, good. And what about on the retention side of things? Do your customers come back for more chocolate?
Oh yes, absolutely. And I think
lots of loyal customers.
Yeah, in a funny way, I think the Rococo customers who were incredibly loyal, not all of them understood what was going on because the business continued in spite of me not being involved. But I think people are finding us, and particularly some of the retail stores are coming and saying, "Yeah, we really want to have you."
That's good, isn't it?
Mm.
And how long's that been now? How long's the Chocolate Detective been in existence?
I guess it's about 5 years now.
Yeah, okay. So kind of pandemic. Was it during the pandemic or?
Yes. Well, just before the pandemic that I stepped out of Rococo.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit, and we all know that was not a good moment, particularly for retail. It was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But that's when I was actually making chocolate. I had a very good friend who invited me to use his small kitchen in a Chelsea gentleman's club that was completely uninhabited because of the lockdown. He said, "There's no one in there. Just go in there and play."
Wow, that's
so
brilliant.
I had about 3 weeks before Easter. So this time of the year, I suppose, these beautiful days, melting chocolate, tempering it, making eggs, and getting them out there to my small group of fans and customers.
And it's great that they're finding their way back to you. That's brilliant, and that shows it's that personal element, isn't it?
Exactly. That's the strength of those relationships that you've built for so many years. So I think that's the thing we have to hold on to, is that we're still dealing with humans in the end.
Yeah. And I think genuinely, I think that the pandemic gave people a desire to support artisan businesses, small producers, those types of things, rather than supporting the big corporations and the big organizations.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And I think that's why a lot of these small shops, which are individual outlets that people literally are in their neighborhood, are doing really well. We've also got, I don't know if you're Holly Tucker, but she's set up not on the high street.
Oh yeah. In Richmond, yeah.
Massive success, but she exited that business and was not allowed to do anything for 10 years.
Wow, 10 years.
But then she set up her business called Holly & Co, which is supporting small artisan producers, craft makers.
Brilliant.
And a lot of women. So that's been fun working with her.
Yeah.
So she's got a beautiful platform that she promotes all these businesses on, and she's built that from scratch, and I know invested a massive amount of money in it.
Yeah, fabulous, excellent. Well, it's been lovely having you on. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and have a chat. It's been great to have you here.
Not at all. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, Kevin.